All right, Eric. So, first, I just want to say thank you for putting your faith and your trust and stepping into the unknown because I know how much courage that takes, how scary it is to step into something that you're not quite sure of. We've been on a journey now for basically this whole year. You've just came to Philly, did the in-person men's retreat. I'm so honored to have met you and be there in person with you. Thank you for giving me my journal cover. And yeah, I think it's incredible just acknowledging too, like recently you've gone through this huge transition and just want to celebrate you in this. You recently we manifested selling the house, getting to a new place, right? Um, why don't you kind of tell me what life was for you before kind of this year? And that's where I'd like to start. Let's talk about what it was like before all of the things that I just mentioned, and then we'll kind of go into that journey. So,
Okay. So, thanks for giving me the opportunity to share my experience. And I'd like to start by saying last year in 2023, I came to the realization that I was unhealthy. So I needed to do something. And I hired a personal trainer and I worked really hard and I lost 20 pounds last year. Then I got to January 2024. And while I was feeling healthier, still on my path to my weight loss goal, there was something inside that was off. And during that time of thinking about what I need to do to improve my happiness, my lifestyle, I stumbled across you on Instagram and started just looking at some of your videos, and I really was interested. You caught my interest, and I gave it some time before I reached out, and eventually I felt like I should reach out and get some more information. So at that point, it was I was a very timid, anxious person, um, very low self-esteem. Um, yeah, kind of had a lot of conflict. And maybe if you asked my spouse, they would say that I was negative, like I had a negative aura around me. And so I was having a hard time just kind of readjusting and finding my path to create a better, happier, more positive lifestyle. So that's where I was when I first reached out.
yeah, so timid, anxious, low self-esteem, right? A lot of conflict. Even your partner, your spouse would say, "Ah, there's some negative energy around you." And again, you realize this was internal, right? And this is a huge thing. It's like even guys come to me all the time that I get the house, I got the family, I got this, or I've lost the weight, or I've gone to therapy, and I even recognize, hey, there's something off, and I know I need to improve my happiness, but I don't know how to get that next step. So share perhaps your perspective on some of the techniques, like learning about shadow and the embodiment practices, and maybe some of the aha moments that helped you solve these so-called problems, if you will. But again, shifting the perspective, not necessarily problems, they were all blessings to begin with. But
Sure.
but yeah, share that evolution, that perspective.
Right. And like our first discussion when I first reached out to you that we had, I was really a blank slate coming in because you asked if I had ever done anything like this, any kind of work in the past. To be honest, I think I'd only done like one or two yoga classes in the past. I've never done yoga. So this was like fresh, all this information and experience, practice was all fresh for me. So I found it really, I jumped right in and tried to embrace the new practices and learning. Um, Sometimes I found myself struggling a little bit, but this is where having you as a mentor, having you guide me whenever I felt like I was off with the practice or the shadow work, or something wasn't kind of just making sense to me. You were very easy to communicate with and helped me just kind of figure things out for myself, really. Um,
Yeah.
But overall, most of the time, most things came pretty easy. There were a couple times that I found a little bit difficult, but I was able to work through it and come out on top. So I think the biggest benefit for me was the meditation practice, which is what I do. I try to do on a daily basis now. So I've kind of created habits since starting working with you. Um, First, it was learning new techniques and new processes like meditation, learning, watching informational videos. And then I started like putting it on my calendar, on my schedule, following up with you. And Nick's messaging me, "Hey, how did your day go?" So there's that element of accountability from you, and it doesn't feel threatening in a way. It's more like a brother, like following up with you. "Hey, did you take care of what you need to take care of? Where are you at today?" So the meditation is huge for me. It starts my day out in a positive energy. And even my spouse, when I get in a rut, they're like, "Did you meditate today?"
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I mean, here's the thing, right? Is 90% of who we are is repeated on a daily basis. That means the same thoughts lead to the same patterns, lead to the same emotions, and that's the same experience. However, and there's nothing wrong with that. However, a lot of people talk to me about how they want to change, right? And exactly it. The meditation is key. Meditation is the gateway. All these practices are kind of meditative states we're getting into to be able to create new thoughts, to create new feelings, to then, now we know through epigenetics, to change your genetic makeup, to change your personality, to create a new personal reality, right? And yes, it is going to be difficult at times because it's like the example or analogy of learning a new language, right? Well, you've been speaking this specific language all your life, and now you're going to learn something new. There's going to be moments where you're going to get frustrated. You're going to want to stop. You're going to want to give up. And having, like you said, that brother to kind of like nudge, like, "Hey, did you do your meditation? Did you do your qigong? Did you, watch the video on shadow? And did you self-reflect and do your journaling?" Because that's in those moments when you feel like giving up, when you get frustrated, when you feel challenged, and then having the support, me 24/7, and then showing up in the sessions to get more of the clarification. That's when the magic starts to happen. That's when the beauty of relationships start to improve, or in your life, for example, the magic of manifesting, selling the house, right? And all that uncertainty. um, so I guess the final question for you is what would you say to somebody else who might be considering working with me? What would you give them as advice or inspiration?
I would say just do it. I am a very skeptical person, and I'll be honest, I was skeptical going into this process because it's a commitment, and I just but I was always that answer was always proven to come back as yes, you made the right choice. And today, like 6, 7 months into it, I definitely feel like I benefited from this, and I'll continue to benefit from it going forward with this lifestyle and improvement. Again, I got the added benefit to not only doing the virtual private sessions with Nick, but I did the weekend sessions when I wasn't working with the other brothers. Got to interact in a group setting. And the most fun was doing the in-person retreat, which I had the opportunity to attend, which was amazing. And so it was like, I think that was like month 5 of my practicing with Nick. So I was able to show up in person, and it kind of all came together. And then just different element and vibe when you're doing these things in person. So I would say just do it. You won't regret it. Another thing I just want to add that I really enjoyed with Nick's program, it's set up like a schedule or syllabus. So it's like you're never off. You have a weekly agenda, different informational videos, different topics, different meditation and yoga practices, and then you're following up. So you're never kind of like lost in the space here. It's always like a very good guided path, and I found it very, very helpful.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you so much for sharing all of that. And it's been an incredible journey. I look forward to continuing it with you in the group sessions, hopefully another in-person retreat. And
Yeah,
yeah, I just want to again thank you for your commitment. I think the reason you've gotten the results that you've gotten this year is because of you continuing to show up for yourself. It's really simple. Showing up is, you know, 90% of the work. In fact, the only time people don't get results is when they don't show up, right? So again, just applauding your commitment, even through the confusion, even through the difficult challenges of learning something new, but still continuing to show up. And yeah, I just honor you for that and your courage to continue to show up. So thank you so
awesome.
much.
Thanks, Nick.